Hey, Lord of the Rings fans. So I was recently asked, what is Sauron's problem? Why is he evil? What's his motivation? Why does he do the things that he does? So let's get into it. So as I've said in the past, Sauron is actually the second Dark Lord. He served the being known as Melkor, aka Morgoth, the original Dark Lord, and the second most powerful being in the entire Tolkienverse. He is the one who created orcs, dragons, trolls. Pretty much anything evil is under his charge, and Sauron is his second in command. But Sauron wasn't always evil. He was once known as Myron, which means the admirable, and he was a student of the smith god Aule. Now, any beings that serve Aule love to build, create, and craft things. Saruman was once a student of Aule. The dwarves were created by Aule, and the Noldor elves worship Aule. These are all beings that love to create and craft things. And Sauron was one of his greatest students, if not his greatest student, and he was loved and admired. But he had one problem. Everything had to be in order. He was obsessed with order. Now, this comes to play later on, so pay attention. So when Morgoth went to war against the Valar, he seduced many of the Maiar, beasts, and other beings to his side. And the way he seduced Sauron to his side was basically by telling him, how can there ever truly be order if all these beings have free will? These beings will be doing that thing. Those beings will be doing another thing. There'll never truly be order unless me and you control everything. Then everything will be how we want it, and there'll truly be order. And in Sauron's mind and how his mind works, this made perfect sense. So he went over to Morgoth's side. So Sauron was obsessed with order, and he was extremely loyal to Morgoth to achieve his goal. And he followed in Morgoth's footsteps and became more and more evil and more powerful. And it didn't matter what he had to do to get his way. It didn't matter who he had to kill, and it didn't matter who he had to manipulate. So after Morgoth was finally defeated, Sauron rose to power and he became the Dark Lord. And his goal was the same. It was all about control and dominating the will of others. If you look at the creation of the ring and the War of the Rings, it was all about controlling the world and him not suffering any rivals. And his evilness progressed. He hated elves and he hated men, and he wanted to control and rule over them. And it expressly says in the Silmarillion that Sauron was only less evil than his master because for long he served another and not himself. So basically, at the end of the day, Sauron's problem is that he had a really bad case of OCD.